All right, welcome back to the Jelly Cards podcast, where John and I are spreading the love of the hobby. This is episode 77. You can listen to all our episodes on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts, including YouTube now. And if you are enjoying these topics, please give us a rating and a follow on both Spotify and Apple. Morning, John.
Good morning, Jason.
Super early, man.
Yeah, my bad.
Sun's not even up.
I know it's kind of creepy, to be honest.
I know, like I got this nice shadow, right? Right.
Harvey Dent.
Yep. Yeah, looking like Two-Face over here, man. Yeah, it's currently 5:45 in the morning.
I know.
This is the best. No, this is life. I was up at 4. It was great. Up at 4, drinking my coffee, writing down my notes for the podcast.
Hell yeah. Nice and quiet. Nobody
right.
bothering you. No noise outside.
That's right. All that would be better is that right after the podcast, if we were driving to the shop.
I know.
To get it open. That's the life right there.
That's the dream right there. We're just recording inside the shop. Like we have like a designated podcast room.
Yeah. And sorry for the if my audio sucks.
Yeah, man.
Drop the ball, man.
Dropping lots of balls over there.
Yeah. Took my car in to get it fixed and left my adapter for my headphones in the car.
Whoops. So bad. Yeah.
Woke up this morning and was like, oh, I gotta go get something out of my car. Where's my car?
Dude, where's my car?
Yeah. So, all right, but before we even get into the topics, man, I just want to do this. Congrats, John.
So dumb.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, congrats on being right.
Your Dodgers, man. Your beloved Shohei Ohtani got himself a ring.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Jason?
It is what it is, man. Certainly I would have personally loved Ohtani to finish his career with no rings. And I would have laughed. Mm-hmm. But hey, he won it. He got it. I mean, yeah, he did exactly the Dodgers did exactly what everybody predicted them to do because they, basically made the Miami Heat team of baseball.
Exactly.
And it worked out. Just like it did for Miami. It worked out for them. They got themselves a ring, and Yankees looked
horrible.
Stinky, man.
Absolutely horrible.
Aaron Judge, holy crap. Like, that was just not good. Yeah, oh yeah. And I will sit there and admit it. I mean, Ohtani didn't have a great postseason either, but at least he's walking away with a ring. God, damn, man. Yeah. Judge was terrible.
Yeah, exactly right. And yeah, you should be clapping because I was right, is what you should be clapping for.
No, I'm clapping because your Dodgers won.
Wrong.
Because your baby boy, Ohtani, man, got himself a ring. And now, like I said, now you can really kind of start talking about GOAT status for him. Granted, I mean, I think he, like I said, his postseason was not good. He struck out a ton. I think he struck out almost the same amount that Judge struck out. Not good. And then obviously he had a little scare of an injury. But yeah, I mean, and I think now you can pretty much kind of now start. Okay, now he's got a ring. It's another huge accomplishment that to his career. So, I mean, it's impressive. But
yeah, I told you that you should probably get used to it. It's going to happen again next year, and it might happen the year after that too. So, I don't know. I'm pissed. I don't care that the Dodgers won. I didn't want them to win, despite whatever you might think. First year Shohei gets there. First year Yamamoto gets there. They win, and they're not even completely healthy. Kershaw's coming back next year. Glass on it next year. Ohtani's pitching next year. So, yeah. I don't want to start my morning with a rage rant, but I hate the MLB. I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too. I mean, I don't know if it was necessary. Listen, the Dodgers to me did not impress me like the way that they should have. And I don't think that, yes, they pretty much dominated the Yankees except for Game 3?
4.
Game 4. Other than that game, I mean, I think it's more so the Yankees just crap the bed.
Yeah. And
It happened. And when your best player, who I was very impressed by was Stanton.
yeah,
Stanton actually had a really good postseason run. So
I
I
agree.
was a lot of home runs he was hitting. Even oh my god, did you see him?
That's what I was gonna say. Did you see him
Oh,
rounding third?
oh
Oh
my!
man,
I don't, dude. I mean, come on.
yeah,
Like, there's
someone.
no way. There's no way you're that slow.
I know.
There's
That's
no possible way you are that slow.
exactly. And he was just lumbering too.
It's like it hurts. It looks like he's
Exactly.
in pain when he runs. He's got no knee drive. I mean, dude, work on your flexibility. Like, warm up the hip flexor. I mean, come on, man. Get some knee drive and let's get down these damn bases.
Yeah, it was bad. But aside
Terrible.
from aside from that, I agree with you. I think he had a pretty good postseason. I thought that you were gonna say Soto. What's gonna
Well,
happen?
but see, Soto, that I expect Soto to have that good of a postseason. We expected Judge to have a awesome postseason. But for Stanton to really come up and play the way he did, kind of almost like Stanton of old, like
Yeah,
that had to have been good for Yankee fans to see because he's not the MVP player that he once was, but he can still get you home runs. And him stepping up to the plate during this postseason when everybody was out, when everyone else other than Soto was not playing great, yeah, it was probably a good thing for them to see.
yeah. How many more years does Stanton have left? I don't know,
I
and I don't
mean,
know what's gonna
the
happen with
good,
Soto.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if the Yankees are going to keep him or not. I kind of don't think the Yankees are going to keep him. He's going to be a lot of money, a lot of money. I think the Blue Jays were in on him to potentially get him, which would be crazy.
That'd be great,
Um,
but I, just for the sake of my rage becoming insanity, I hope he goes to the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Honestly, the Padres should have kept him.
Yeah. Well,
The
didn't
Padres,
happen.
but I don't even know if the Padres have the money to keep him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the
God.
space anymore, to do that with, all the players that they were signing at the time. But it would have been smarter for the Padres to keep Soto. Like, they should have done that because they would, I mean, look at the team that they had this year without him. Think of the team that you would have had with him, like in that lineup. Like, you would have beat the Dodgers. Like, you would have beat them,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
what am I gonna do? What are we gonna do?
We're gonna talk sports cards. We're gonna
Yeah.
cheer you.
Thank
We're gonna
God.
cheer you up, and we're gonna talk
Make me
sports
feel.
cards, man.
Thank you. Make me feel a little bit better.
Because one, I changed it up on you. We were talking yesterday. Well, one of the topics I want to keep, but we were going to talk about basketball cards, and then I was reading some articles yesterday on Sports Collectors Daily. And I don't know if you ever like read articles on their website before,
Nope.
but I was just kind of flipping through their website, and I came across, and this is something I came across on social media the other day too, because unfortunately it was Jeff Wilson. He made a video. He made a video about Victor Wembanyama and the amount of cards that PSA has graded of his. And I think now I think he's in the top 15 all time for
Makes sense.
players graded. But yeah, they had this Sports Card Daily had this article on there. It was talking about the PSA numbers, the graded numbers for this year. And the way they put it is, I think they said if you stack them on top of each other, the first stack would go all the way up to the top of Mount Everest, and then you could climb your way back down, and then stack another one almost as equivalent high. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Apparently, I don't know
nuts.
like if that's accurate or not. And a lot of the numbers that they were getting that we're going to talk about was from GemRate, which I really
Yes.
feel like I should be looking at
You
GemRate more.
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
GemRate is really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's an awesome website. It's got great data on it. I really should be utilizing it more, especially for for when we do these podcast recordings. Like, we really should be. I don't know how they get all this information.
Me neither.
How they can keep track of it on a daily basis. They keep track of it on a daily basis. So I don't know if I don't know how quick like PSA like puts out pop reports, but are they just like counting up pop reports to get these numbers? I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah, there has to be some sort of algorithm that kind of links the
Yeah, or if they have like a partnership with with PSA or something where PSA like sends them data or something like that, which
Yeah,
is good for PSA to have those numbers out there. So it would be a great partnership for GemRate and PSA to, be able to like give us the data to see how much like PSA is truly dominating this like grading hobby. But the article said that PSA is on pace to grade between 15 to 16 million dollar cards this year.
million cards, not
They're
million
on.
dollar cards.
Oh, sorry, million cards. Yeah,
I
sorry.
was like, oh my
Oh,
God, what's going on?
whoa. No, yeah, they're on pace to grade between 15 to 16 million cards. I think the exact number that GemRate put down was 15.9 million.
Wow. So at
Last
least,
last year was 13 million.
damn man. So they're up to like 1.3 million cards a month.
Yep, and and exactly that is what GemRate said. So back in May, I guess PSA graded 1,369,953 cards that month,
Dude,
which was I think 13% higher than what they did last year.
that's very impressive.
Yeah, almost like, and you know what's funny? BGS was down 6%. In the month of May, they only graded 59,000 cards.
Told you, man.
And I think CGC, I think the article said CGC was at 118 or 118,000, I think, and SGC was 174,000.
See what I mean?
Well, so the reason why I want to talk about this, and we were talking about it before we started recording, is like I want to talk about the sustainability of this over time in the hobby. Like, I mean, is this too much? I mean, is this like how? I truly think this could be a big reason why we're seeing declining markets and why or I guess more like normalized markets now, because it's not a rarity anymore for people to have graded sports cards. Like when, obviously in 2018, 2017, 2018, 2019, when we started to see this uptick and like people realizing that there was value to be made in sports cards. But then 2020 hits, everyone's sheltered in place. And then next thing you know, cards skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these prices were astronomically high. Now we're starting to see this, a little bit. We're seeing declining markets, but it's more so of normalizing markets, or they're kind of plateauing now. But if PSA is grading almost over I was going to say $1 million again, over 1 million cards per month. What does that mean for the sustainability of the hobby over time?
I don't know what you mean by like sustainability of the hobby. I
Like,
think,
can like are I mean, eventually, like, are cards going to remain like valuable? Like, how can cards remain that valuable if everybody's got them?
yeah, yeah. So I think what you're getting at is that like, when I hear the things that you're saying, what I think is that eventually the amount of collectors in the hobby who refuse to grade or have a fully raw cards collection is going to just keep going down. I feel like nobody is going to be looking for raw cards unless, and even if you are looking for raw cards, you're looking to buy that card so you can grade it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I feel like everybody's collection or investments are going to strictly become PSA slabs. Rarely like a wild one or two SGC slabs or BGS slab or CGC slab, but the card itself that's in that slab is going to be super rare. In terms of like silver prisms, in terms of first Bowman chromes, in terms of like just flagship rookie cards, as people like to call them, I feel like nobody is going to be looking for anything besides PSA 10s of those cards
Yeah.
as time goes on. So I think I wrote down while you were saying that, I think it's like another sign of the maturity and the growth in the hobby because it's nobody it's basically become PSA 10 or bust. If I don't have a PSA 10 of like a modern card or an ultra
Yeah.
modern card as they used to call it, I'm not really that interested in adding it to my investment portfolio or my
Yeah.
collection. So I guess now I'm understanding what you're saying in terms of its effect on the hobby in general. Like, is anybody going to be collecting raw cards? Probably not. I mean, if I get a raw card and I think it's grade worthy, I'm going to grade it. But if I don't think it's grade worthy, I'm still going to keep it. Are there going to be other people like that out there as time goes on? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I feel like if somebody's buying a raw card in the modern collecting era, and it's a modern card, obviously not vintage, even vintage, but if they buy the card, their goal is to grade it
Mm.
and either keep it in their collection so that it can grow in value or grade it, flip it, buy something else. So that's how I feel about it. But this is another testament to what I have been trying to say to you guys, that PSA is by far the king of grading. I don't know if anyone is going to even come close, and I
Yeah.
feel like in my pessimistic heart that PSA is just going to completely take over. No one's going to be sending cards to SGC or BGS down the line. But that's negative
But
to say.
which is crazy to me because we talked about this so many times that that Beckett was the number one grader like before the card boom, and it baffles me because it's like did somebody just decide like I'm gonna just start buying like PSA slabs, and now PSA is now like the number. You know what I mean?
That's a great question.
Like
I
why PSA? And you
I
know what? You know
think
what? I'll give. I'm gonna
yeah,
give you
you go
my answer
first.
because my answer is just very generic. It's very basic. I think it's easy. I think it's easier to get better grades with PSA than it is any other grading company. From what
Hmm.
I've heard, SGC is that's a very tough grade. Like those are very tough grades. I think Beckett grades very harshly too. Not harshly, I guess harshly is probably too strong of a word. I just think it's harder to get like gem worthy grades out of SGC and BGS versus PSA. I think PSA just pumps out. Like I truly, I just think there's, I mean, come on, there are some cards that come back or you look at this card and go, how did that get a 10?
Yeah.
I have a Gardner Minshew card, sold it already. But I had Gardner Minshew, just his rookie optic card. Dude, I swear, the centering had like this much on one side.
Oh God.
They gave it a 10, man. They gave it a 10. I went, hey, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you,
Like,
PSA.
appreciate it. But, I mean, I just, my answer, I think, is that people just got really lucky and they were getting a lot of 10s, and everyone just went, okay, we got to get PSA because I'm getting a PSA 10 on this card and I'm getting a Beckett BGS 9 on this one or an SGC 9.5 on that card. Like, what was the card that we cracked
Yeah, we
from
cracked. We cracked an
an
SGC
SJC
9
slab? Yeah, an
Sapphire
SJC
Auto.
9, and it came back a PSA 10. Now, who's wrong in the grade?
Great question, man.
Who was wrong in the grade? Was SGC that off on their card, or was PSA just like, here you go?
Yeah, I don't know. This is that's a very we're gonna go down a rabbit hole here of how grading is a scam. So first of all, to answer the original question on like what happened where Beckett lost its throne and PSA became the number one grader in the world, I personally think that it's the pop reports. I think it's the population data. I think
Hmm.
PSA's registry and PSA's tracking of all their grades
Very
just
easily accessible. Yeah,
super easy to access. They've done an amazing job on creating pop reports on like authenticating certain sets, authenticating each card in each set, making sure that there's a registry or a pop report for every card that's in existence. I think they have to have some sort of connection at Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, Leaf. Like they have such good relationships with every card making company that you could just send it to PSA and you have trust that like these guys are going to kind of do their due diligence and make sure that this
yeah.
card is real, it's authentic. And I we talked about it, I feel like on one podcast episode, once the pandemic hit, obviously PSA was shut down because of like the massive
They're
flood
just
of
flooded.
cards.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
flooded. Yep.
Insane amount of cards are being sent to PSA. And I feel like eventually that led to the other companies kind of getting backlogged and either I don't know if Beckett and SGC shut down, but I think the
I
response
don't think.
to, yeah,
I think if SGC did, I don't think it was for very long.
exactly. But I'm saying I think the response to this change in the hobby of, hey, we're going to start getting way more submissions than we ever have. I think PSA handled that response way better than anybody else. It was super annoying to go through the shutdown because you're just like, yo, I sent this card like almost 6 months ago, 8 months ago,
Yeah,
a
it was like
year
almost
ago.
a year. Yeah.
Yeah. But PSA was like, no, we need to stop. We need to prepare ourselves for not only what's going
Hmm.
on right now, but also the future. And that, in my opinion, was the time for SGC and Beckett to be like, listen, PSA is shut down. We need to take advantage of this opportunity. And it just felt like nobody did. Instead, like I told you guys, I was pissed off that Beckett was like, oh, we're actually going to start charging extra for subgrades. We're going to start doing this and that. Like, you can only submit
And they
this.
raised their prices.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it's a winded answer, but basically, PSA has handled the grading process better than anybody else. And I don't know. It's how things are now. I think their control on the population of all cards in general
Yeah.
is just unreachable. Nobody's gonna ever come close.
Which is crazy to me because when I actually look at it, and you know me, I'm a big SGC guy, but
Yeah,
I think the overall look of SGC slabs is 100 times better than any other slab. That like kind of tuxedo look is really crisp. The cards look awesome. But personally, just everything about SGC to me screams that they should be the number one. And I say that because they have a way faster turnaround time than
yes,
PSA. And that was the one thing that I always suggested to you guys, and what I always argued for is they can get your cards back faster than PSA can.
for sure.
And that is a huge factor when it comes to buying and flipping sports cards, especially cards that just got released and you're still trying to sell them during the hype of the set. You know, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough during the card boom when you were sending cards to PSA and they were coming back in a year. Do you know how much can happen to a market in 1 year? Like that market could be gone. And that happened to a ton of my cards that I sent out to get graded. That market was almost non existent anymore.
Exactly.
And now those cards are a loss.
Yep,
And it's unfortunate. It was just unfortunate what happened. But to me, everything about SGC screams they should be better than they are. But I think what it comes down to is it's a tougher grade to get. And I just don't, I think that is why a lot of people go towards PSA because it's like, okay, I can send my card to SGC. I can probably get it back like a month, maybe even 2 months earlier than what PSA's turnaround time is. However, I'm probably more guaranteed that I'm gonna get a PSA 10 than I am gonna get an SGC 10. And I think people are just willing to wait, or I truly think it's people probably are not waiting. They're probably paying the hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get their card back in like a couple days.
yeah. This is what's
And
gonna, yeah, you're gonna
yeah,
kickstart my grading rant and rage, and why, like, other fellow collectors out there will say that grading is a scam because first of all, I do agree with what you said about SGC as a company, and I feel like they should be number one. Most importantly, because of my hatred of upcharges on PSA. We can talk about that maybe another time. But
I just
like
got
you,
upcharged.
yeah, exactly. Like you said, though, it's just why if yeah, I guess it makes me angry that I have to pay more money to get my card back faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I understand that they have quite literally 1 million cards to go through every month. But if I don't know, I just wish it was cheaper, I guess is a better way to say it. And especially the reason that I wish that things were cheaper is because of everything that you said, that all of this is subjective. I can send a card to SGC, and this particular grader on this particular day says it's a 9. I get it back, I crack it out of the slab, I send it to PSA, and this particular grader on this particular day decides that it's a PSA 10. And
Yep.
my card went from a certain lower value to a much higher value just based on one individual's opinion.
And that's a
So
big difference. Like
yeah,
SGC still has a point 0.5 in between a 9 and a 10. Like they still have a 9.5. And PSA looked at that card and said, "Nope, this is a 10 to us."
yeah. So it's like it's so subjective, and
Yeah.
there's no reason that it should be this much money. It should always stay a certain price, and yeah, I upcharges in general should not exist. That is complete bull jive. That is absolutely ridiculous. If I send a card to PSA knowing that I'm going to get it back in a certain amount of time, I do not expect to be upcharged. I don't care if you think that the declared value means that this card should have been sent to our faster service.
Yeah.
Then send it back faster. Why,
Yeah.
why am I
Right.
being
Like,
upcharged for waiting this long?
yeah.
So yeah, man, I get pissed off about grading when it comes to that because in my heart of hearts, I'm a collector and a vintage lover. And if I send a freaking 52 tops mantle to, are you like, that's a great question. If I send a 52 tops mantle to SGC and they give it an 8 and it comes back and I crack it and send a PSA and it gets a 9, like what are we doing here?
Yeah. Who's
Why do
wrong
these
and who's
people,
right? Yeah.
yeah, why do
Like
these people have so
yep.
much control over my
Yep.
cards market?
And that's what kind of blows my mind too is when you get a lot of these new grading companies that come out who use like computer based technology in order to grade cards like HGA. I thought HGA was going to be a huge game changer in the hobby. You know that. I was like, hey, let's like send
Yeah,
some cards to HGA because when they first came out, that was like, oh man, like no
yeah,
longer is somebody like an actual physical person grading my card. No, they're scanning it into an algorithm and the algorithm is telling me what this card's worthy of grading. And that's a more, to me, that has to be a more accurate
agree.
grade, but nobody wanted that. And now
Yeah.
where's HGA now, man? You don't even hear about them anymore. And I think there's another, um, what's the other one? Is it Ace Grading? There's another grading company out there that uses computer based technology in order to grade their cards, but nobody grades with them. Nobody talks about those companies. Nobody grades with those companies, and it kind of blows my mind because why would you want exactly your point? Why would you want an actual person grading your card and they're giving you their opinion of the card? Hey man, the PSA is grading over 1 million cards a day or a month.
Yeah.
They're grading like almost 70,000 cards a day. And you're telling me someone's not going to be stressed out that day?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Someone's just
This
not going to be having a bad day and be like, I'm done.
I hate. Yeah,
I've looked at 5,000 cards today. I'm over it. They're giving us mandatory overtime or what, my car
just
wasn't
chill,
starting
man.
in the morning. Like, I mean, it could be a number of things that could just make your day suck.
Yeah, that's a great
And,
point
and
about
now
the.
and now like I'm at the mercy of what you think my card's worthy of getting graded
Yeah,
versus
and
just a machine scanning it in and telling me this card's 9.5.
exactly.
This card's a 10.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably what that had to have happened. Here's another conspiracy theory about pop control. I feel like both Victor and Bedard, like you said, that's what I like triggered in my head when you were like, I've graded 5,000 cards today. Somebody was like, I've graded 700 Victor Wembanyama Prism
Yep.
cards today. I'm tired of this. Everyone else that's left is getting an 8, and I'm moving on. And same
Yep.
with Bedard. It's like I've seen 300 Bedard Young Guns come through today. I'm sick of it. I want to give this person a 9 or an 8 just so that people they don't see my log and I've just been giving everybody 10s. Like how do I
Yeah.
know that that's not happening? What if PSA is like
What if there's a
um
quota?
yeah,
You got to give X amount of tens.
yeah, or this amount of 9s and this amount of
Yeah.
8s.
Yep. Hmm.
But that's just that's quote unquote a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I have to hope that they don't operate that way and it's just
Yeah.
like strictly this card each card gets its individual look and its individual grade. But I don't know. You throw in the human element, things could happen.
That's what
And
I'm saying, man. And I'm shocked that nobody wants to kind of eliminate the human element when it comes to grading because I wouldn't want my cards to be at the mercy of of somebody to tell me like, hey, your cards, you just sent me the grades of the Pokemon cards that I sent in. I was pissed that Mike Koga's first
Yeah.
edition Hollow Beedrill got a PSA 8. I'm sorry, that card's not a PSA 8. I bought that card, one, because it's my favorite card of all time, and Beedrill's my favorite Pokemon of all time. But that card, to me, centering was perfect. Edges, corners, all of it was perfect. So you're telling me that the surface was that bad that you graded it an 8? At least give it a 9. I thought the card
Right.
was
Yeah.
gem worthy. I truly thought that card was gem worthy.
Oh, damn.
I was fully expecting that card to come back at 10.
Damn. Sorry,
And
Jason.
for it to come back at 8, tell me how a Bedard Orange Dazzlers fresh out of a pack gets a PSA 6.
Yeah, that one is still pissing me off. I don't know what
Tell
the
me
hell
how
happened.
that happens. How is that card that bad that you graded it a PSA 6? Come on.
Yeah, man.
Fresh out the pack.
Exactly.
Corners they weren't soft corners. We would have never sent the card in that we felt it was like borderline damaged
Exactly.
to get a 6. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But I do want to kind of go over some of the numbers because all this stuff that I was getting off of the Sports Collectors Daily article, and a lot of numbers were coming from gem rate. But apparently this year, basketball has seen an 800,000 growth from last year in
Okay.
like a 10 month span.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously,
Victor.
Wemby being the biggest one. But baseball, they said, has seen a 400,000 growth in cards from last year. And I think so far since March, Shohei Ohtani has had 112,000 cards graded by PSA. Aaron Judge, 30,000. Over 30,000.
Oh, interesting. Who would have thought?
And I believe, according to Gem Rate, Ohtani is the 5th most graded athlete by PSA with over 526,000 cards graded.
Mm-hmm.
So how does Ohtani's market sustain over time if everybody's like, it's no like what I'm saying, you're no longer it's going to have this rarity of having a Shohei Ohtani graded card. If every single Ohtani card out there is going to get graded. And Ohtani is not like regular players where he does not have first Bowmans or anything like that, just rookie cards. And so to me, I'm like, I don't know how this sustains over time if everybody just has them now. Like Wemby, especially with Wemby, eventually one, and I think that's why I think that's why you're seeing base rookie cards, like, just who cares? Like, they're just
Value
probably
bin.
getting tossed. They're getting tossed out or tossed in a value bin. I think you're really starting to see even some low numbered cards or some number cards, like out of 250, out of 499, even out of maybe even some out of 99. I don't even think those cards eventually over time are going to be as highly sought after. I really think the hobby is shifting to where, unless you got a 101, an out of 5, an out of 10, and maybe at most an out of 50, I think anything else is not going to be truly valuable anymore. And I think this shift is going from, you better have a case hit, or it's got to be numbered out of 10, or I'm not going to want this card. That's and you see it. Watch some of these big influencers in the hobby right now. Roth Cards, King of Cards, Card Collector 2. They're not buying base rookie cards. Roth Cards, they buy almost every 101 they can possibly get their hands on.
Nice.
Or they're buying out of 5, or they're buying out of 10. Any of these big time influencers, no, they're not buying just like a base rookie card of Wemby anymore, or a first Bowman Chrome of Jackson Holiday. No, if they're gonna buy a Jackson Holiday card, it's because it's a red out of 5 auto.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're buying it.
Yeah. See?
And I think a lot of that is shifting the views and the ideas of a lot of hobbyists out there. You should not have kids. There should not be kids and teenagers in this hobby who are only wanting case hits.
I only want kabooms, and I only want downtowns.
I only want kabooms. I want downtowns. I want color blasts. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, you just, what's going on? Where am I?
Yeah, like how are you afford? There's no way you can sustain that because we can't afford that. Nobody,
Yeah.
every single hobbyist out there can't afford to just buy into out of fives.
Mm. Yeah.
But eventually down the road, these cards are not going to be valuable over time. And because prices of boxes are going up, wax is going up, case amounts are going up, you can't sustain your company off of grading out of 250 purple first Bowmans and think that you're going to make money and think you're going to profit off your business. No, you can't do that.
Dang. Eh. See. Okay. First, that's a lot by you. A lot to unwrap. This is that
I need a
everything.
drink.
I want you to think about everything that you just said and think about it for a long time because my biggest regret of this podcast was that I was not on the Pokemon card podcast to defend myself when I was saying the same thing about the Moon Prion. So that's what everything that you said I agree with completely. And that's what I think is going to happen with Pokemon cards as well. And especially modern Pokemon cards. Vintage Pokemon cards, I don't know, still on the fence about that. So what I think Jason is saying is that if there are, I don't know what you said, 500,000 Otani graded cards out there, as soon as the modern collector investor starts looking at Otani cards to grab to kind of put into their investment portfolio, as I like to call it now, or their collection, I think the shift in the hobby is going to be, let me look up the pop report. Let me see how many of this PSA 10 Otani cards are in
Yeah.
existence before I decide to buy this card. If I go to buy a Otani Bowman rookie card in a PSA 10, and eventually there's going to be like 10,000 of that card in existence,
Mm.
as this hobby grows and it continues to go down its current path, I don't think people are going to be really interested in that card. They'd rather buy the numbered, like I feel like they would still go to the purple, they'll go to the blue, they'll go to the green, they'll go to the gold. Like I'd rather get the rare card because the pop report on that card is thousands lower compared to this base card. So the reason that I think that even the 250s, the 499s, the 99s, that they'll have value, but I agree with you that they might not be as expensive as they are currently or they were. They'll have value because there's still going to be people out there like us who love collecting and love cards who can only afford to get the purple out of 250. I can't afford to go buy a red Otani out of 5. I probably can't afford to go buy a 250 out of Otani, but
No, not
yeah,
now. You can't even probably do it on Jackson Holiday.
exactly. So those those cards will still have value, but the main point in what I think we're saying here is that pop reports are going to become, or at least this is my opinion. I don't think it's a Jelly Card's opinion. Pop reports are going to become way more important than almost the card itself. Like if there's a, I remember when we went to the spectacular in Rosemont in Chicago, there was an Otani rookie card, and I'm still pissed off to this day that I didn't buy it because I saw it in the case. It was like $100, but when I went to go look up the pop report, it was a PSA 10 of Otani with a pop of like a population of maybe 30, maybe
Yeah.
40,
Yeah, I
and I
remember
was
that.
like, damn, I feel like I should buy this card because there's only 40 of it in existence. Versus if I wanted to look up the like his flagship tops rookie, I'm sure it's in
Hmm.
the thousands. So I think that's the shift in the hobby that you're going to see. And it's kind of unfortunate and sad, but that's just how things have become. Like, people, including kids now, aren't interested in collecting rookie cards of their favorite player, or most the kids
Yeah.
that we see. I'm sure there are some out there who are like,
There,
yeah,
yes, there are still probably plenty of collectors out there who only care, who still love to collect it. But I think the mindset of a lot of these hobbyists is that, and these young hobbyists, and these young kids coming up in this new generation, is that no, like I'm seeing Roth cards buying. That's what
yeah,
I need to get. Like
yeah,
that's what I need. That's what I need to buy because that's what he's buying, and he's successful. And look at his YouTube channel and all that stuff, and that's what they want. Like being an influencer is like an actual job now.
yeah, yeah,
Like that's an actual job, and there's kids out there who actually want that job. That was never like That
Right.
wasn't a
Yeah.
thing when we were kids. Like
Yeah.
you weren't growing up thinking, "Oh, I want to be a YouTube star," but that's a thing now.
I should have. I should have been doing that, so I didn't
Yeah,
have to do my current job.
we could have been, we could have been one of the first ones, man.
Yeah.
We were around when YouTube started.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's
um,
like, I'm not saying all this to in like a negative way. I just
no,
want that out there as well.
it's just the shift in it's the shift in life. Like this is the new thing, and going back to what you were saying about Pokemon cards, because when I was looking at the gem rates, our gem rates website, and just looking at PSA's numbers in the last 30 days, TCG is still the most cards they're grading.
Oh, that makes me really
More
happy.
than baseball, more than basketball. Like, yeah, they're still grading TCG cards more than any other like sports card, at least in
That's
the
awesome.
last 30 days. But my thing is we have seen a huge decline in Pokemon cards. And I think it's a lot harder. I think there's a lot of modern cards out there in Pokemon that they're just pumping sets out left and right. We've talked about this numerous times on this podcast, and a lot of those cards are not very valuable. Like you got to get like the Moonbreon, cards like that. There are certain cards that have held value over time, but it's not every single modern card that's getting printed, and we're seeing a huge drop off in the vintage Pokemon cards and some of the base ones. I mean, the first edition Shadowless Charizard in a 10 was a $200,000 card in the card boom. That card's now 50 grand. But yet people are still sending them out and sending them out and sending them out to get them graded.
Yeah,
And
of
and
course.
and I personally, like we said, I personally think that it's very tough to grade Pokemon cards right now. Even though I got 310s on my
Yeah,
modern
freaking
ones.
hell yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was very happy, especially the Groudon, man.
Yeah,
Getting the PSA 10 and the special illustration rare of Groudon from Paradox Rift, that was awesome.
that was
That's
cool.
like $160 card in a 10.
Damn, Jason.
Doesn't sound like a lot of money, but that card right there will basically get my money back for buying the booster box. So then if I sold every other card out of that, that's pure profit.
Exactly.
So it worked out in that one. But yeah, it's kind of crazy for you to say, to look at like kind of like Pokemon numbers over time, but yet people are they still grade them. They still
Yeah.
they still send them out and get them graded. And
Another aspect.
I want to know though, if those are more so, are they sending them out to get them graded in order to sell them, or if they're sending them out to get them graded and keep them as a collection? Because I sent out my base set Charizard. I sent out, like I said, I sent out my Koga's Beedrill. I'm not selling those. At least not right now.
Exactly.
I'm not going to sell them right now. I'm going to keep those.
Yeah. So that was every Pokemon card, Yu-Gi-Oh card that I have ever graded is like a part of me and my brother's collection, and those are not being sold ever. The I take back what I said about every Pokemon card, because some of my Pokemon modern cards I did
Yeah.
grade and I sold.
Mm-hmm.
But vintage cards, yeah, I'm just keeping
Yeah.
them. But
Yep.
that's another aspect of grading that's very important, and especially another reason why PSA maintains its king status, or it's the trust and the like kind of safety net you feel when you see a card in a PSA slab and you can trust that it's authentic.
Yeah.
Some of these other like up and coming grading companies, how can I like know for sure that this 86 Fleer Jordan is actually the 86 Fleer Jordan?
Yep.
Like, and these vintage Pokemon cards are vintage true originals. How can I know? Sending it to PSA and sending any sort of card to PSA, you have that trust factor and that safety net that, okay, this card is legit, this card is an original, whatever they put on the slab is accurate. So I can kind of buy with trust and be confident that I'm adding an original card to my collection.
Yeah.
Versus these new grading companies coming out, you have basically zero trust.
Yeah, it's tough. And I don't even know why any person or any business out there would want to start a new grading company.
I would not. Absolutely not.
I just think I think it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Yep.
Like you're paying all this money for equipment and there's no way. You're just not going to compete against PSA.
Unless you're GMA.
Unless
GMA out there running numbers. That guy's in his garage just pumping out slabs.
That's Luke's boy.
Yeah,
That's Luke's boy.
that's
But
so awesome.
I wanna talk about that too because I want to shift into, it might be a little bit more of a controversial topic, but the same thing of what we were saying about, okay, yeah, why would you start a grading company? Like for me, right now, I'm almost kind of leaning towards why would you want to open up any wax when you have to compete against breakers?
Oh boy.
As like a single collector or like somebody like us where we don't necessarily do breaks like that, or if we are running breaks, we're buying our own product. We're trying, buying our own stuff from either a hobby shop or what we're trying to find at like retail stores. But personally, I think it's also moving in the direction of I don't think wax is going to be worth buying into anymore because
Oh boy.
breakers are just cornering that market. And I'm not, and like I said, I'm not talking about like smaller breakers, like, like Medalist breaks. I love like his breaks because they're personal. He's just doing it for fun. Like, I mean,
Right.
obviously it's for to help sustain his business as well and his brand. But like he's doing it, his are fun. He's not cracking open 50 cases of F1.
Yeah, exactly.
But, a lot of these big time breakers out there who clearly have partnerships with these, with Panini or Tops or whoever, is printing these cards. How are we supposed to buy one case of wax when we know there's a breaker out there who's ripping 50 of them? I don't think it's coincidence that these major breakers out there are the ones who are pulling these major hits. Almost every single major hit that comes out of this damn hobby comes from a breaker now. And I don't think that's just a happy coincidence that you got that card.
Mm, that's a conspiracy theory. You can't prove that that's like
No,
not a
and I can't.
coincidence.
No, and I can't do that. But that's my personal opinion. Like eventually, I mean, why are we spending thousands and thousands of dollars on ripping cases when I know 50 of them just got sent to a breaker?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
is it worth buying into wax still, or should you just buy into the break?
yeah, man. So to kind of play devil's advocate here, um, the reason that, well, like you kind of explained it yourself, the reason that breakers are hitting all these amazing cards is because they're opening more wax. If I, if I'm sure if we were able to rip open 50 cases of wax every month or whatever every year, we'd probably get a lot more hits too. It's just
Yeah,
math doing its math thing. The more you open, the more likely you are you're going to hit an amazing card. But to answer your question about like why even buy into wax, I don't know. It's tough, man. You got a good point there. Like, would I spend 5,000? How much? I don't even know. What was the a prism? I think a Prism football hobby case was like 12K or something like that.
yeah,
Would I spend $12,000 on a case of Prism football hobby, or would I rather just buy the spot in the break to get like the biggest
yeah.
card that could be hit?
Would
Would
I
I?
rather just spend the money on the Bears spot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Or the Washington spot, or
yeah.
whatever spot you want to
Mm-hmm.
call it. Like, why would I spend? When last year's football came out, why would I spend that much money to buy a case of Prism Hobby when I could just buy the CJ Stroud
Yep,
position or spot in a 50 case player break and get all the
yep.
CJ Strouds? So I, yeah, it's a difficult discussion, difficult topic, but I think the reason that I feel like in my heart of hearts, obviously everybody who's buying wax, they want to hit an amazing card. But I feel like the major influence in buying wax is the thrill of opening product and just hitting an amazing card and getting that rush or that feeling. So it's driven unfortunately heavily by the gambling addiction in all of us where it's just like, first of all, I'm gonna feel awesome opening up this
Yep.
box. I'm gonna feel even more awesome if I hit an amazing card. So I got two versus the one, like where I could open this box and feel kind of crappy because I lost my money. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's driving the people like us who open up wax still. But thinking about it in terms of the future, you might be onto something there. Like if you're really if you're really interested in making money and you're really interested in making sure that you make money, which is impossible, you want to give yourself the best odds to make money, opening wax might not be a good decision. You'd have to find like extremely low value or low cost wax with insane return value. And the way freaking hobby box prices have been going,
Yep.
the,
Even
the
just
more,
mega boxes.
yeah, man, the more, oh my God, I just got in a freaking, I was talking to my brother about that. Like, did you know that Barnes and Noble sells cards? Kind of,
Hmm.
I hate to go off topic here, but he was
Yeah.
going to Barnes and Noble for something, and I was like, just like check and see if they have any cards. And he was like, oh, what should I be looking for to buy? And my response was, I don't want you to buy anything. I just want to know if they have the sets that I want, because the price on wax in any form is
Hmm.
way too high. So yeah, man, I kind of going off topic there. I'm sorry, but I there's no I'm getting really frustrated with the way prices are on wax. And to kind of defend you here, it sucks knowing that even if I buy this one hobby box, like, this is almost becoming a waste of money. Like, why would I buy one hobby box for $250 when I could buy into a break of 5 hobby cases for $250
Hmm.
and get the team that I want? So, yeah,
That's
man,
that, and
it's
that's the point I'm getting at is that I'm not saying it as like it's a bad thing that like breakers are bad for the hobby.
right.
Like
No,
I think breakers have taken this hobby to where it is today. You have to give credit to
absolutely.
where the hobby is right now. A lot of that credit is due to online breaking.
Absolutely.
They have given the hobby a platform, a global platform,
Yeah,
and everybody's doing it now. And obviously, of course, not every breaker is great to buy into.
true.
You do see a lot of scammers out there, which is very unfortunate for the people who are out there doing it right. Um, but in my personal opinion, I think it might even be tougher down the road for hobby shops
Oh man, that is
to
absolutely, it's
get to
currently
get
tough.
to get a lot to get product, because I mean you're hearing certain owners of shops, they're traveling 4 hours to go pick up product, but you're getting breakers who are getting product dropped off by the own the owner showing up and like saying, here you go, the owner of Panini's like, here's your stuff.
Yeah, man.
But me, I own a hobby shop. I own a shop. I need this product, and I got to drive 5 hours somewhere else to some wholesale company because and to pick up what, 4 boxes or something.
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I mean? Like, it's just, I think the focus is turning solely towards. I mean, look at the national.
Yeah.
Look at the big jumbotron.
Yeah.
This huge jumbotron, and all it was breakers.
Yep.
Breakers have their own
Pavilion.
pavilion in the national now. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening, and this is where it's moving to. It's moving towards this digital world of everything's done, whatnot, becoming a major app and stuff. And now like people are utilizing all social media platforms to run their businesses and do their online breaks. And it's crazy because a lot of these companies, they're not even opening the cards for themselves.
Yeah.
People are paying them to open up cards for them. Like that's what they're doing. They're paying somebody else to open up a box for them so then they can just get the cards. Like that's
It's like, yeah, it's like, it really is like almost a social media blame, if you want to call it that, but I don't want to call it that. But it's like an instant gratification. Like, I can either leave my house and leave my pajamas and leave my covers where I'm safe.
they're the Grubhub of sports cards.
Exactly. I can either go to the like local card shop and pray that they have one hobby box on the shelf when they
Yeah.
don't get allocated enough hobby
Yeah.
boxes to begin with, or I could just sit here, buy my spot in a break, watch this breaker rip open the cards, and I get that gratification, like satisfaction that I see my cards being hit, and I know that they're going to come in the mail in a few days.
Yeah.
So, but going back to what you said about hobby shops, that's exactly how it is here in Illinois. Even the bigger hobby shops, they might get, I don't know, a couple cases if they're lucky. But I
If they're
remember,
like, yeah.
yeah, when we go to Indiana and we talk to Ken, he's like, "Listen, I put in an order for like 5 cases, and sometimes I get allocated 1 box. for people who don't understand, that's basically saying I put in an order for 60 boxes and they sent me one because Topps or Panini or whoever you want to call it is like, hey, sorry, we only made this many. Who knows how many they actually made? And this person has been giving us business for millions of dollars. Sorry, we have to prioritize them. You get this one box that we made sure had no hits in it. We're
Yeah,
sending
well,
it
and
your way.
that's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess if it was my, like, what would you do? Like in my ideal scenario, I'd be like, listen, we have this many people who are contracted with our company. We have this many boxes. Everybody is getting the equal amount of boxes. I wish that that's what they did. I don't think they can because they have to allocate to the public as well.
Yeah.
Like I guess you'd have to kind of. Never mind. I can't say that because then they would have to cut ties and be like, listen, sorry,
They're
hobby
not going to
shop.
do that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's just what they're realizing is that they're realizing the shift that's happening. They're realizing that these breakers are paying us a ton of money
Yep. Exactly.
to get these boxes, to get the most that they can from it, because and then they're getting the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Because they're breakers are just like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Give us. We want 50 cases. I want 50 cases. You tell me a number. If I'm Panini, am I going like, sorry, man.
Yeah. No
I
way.
got to give a couple. There's a shop in Indiana. I got to give them some. Oh, I'm sorry. You said you were going to pay me how much?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
Yep. They have to. They have to.
How are we supposed to compete against that?
Listen, you just got to get lucky. You got to get extra lucky versus the people buying into the 50 case break. Just got to get
How much
lucky.
do you have to spend in order to get lucky?
Yeah, too much. And that's the problem, man. That's what I'm getting pissed off about. That's what I told my brother. I was like, it's basically like my MLB protest. I'm not going to buy retail ever again until a blaster box is $15 or less. And I'm just going to be
I guess
100 years old.
Yeah, I guess you're never buying blaster or retail product ever again
Right.
because megas are $65.
Right
A
before I
mega
die.
box should not be $65 when you're only guaranteed like
Yeah, man.
like a green prism or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
come on.
They're ridiculous.
The
Absolutely
only retail
insane.
product I would buy are fat packs.
You and the fat packs. Why are you so obsessed with these fat packs?
I don't know, because they're quick, they're quick, easy, they're fun to rip, and they're fun to post. Like, it's just a quick and easy. But you know what? That's why I like buying into the junk wax boxes. You go on to Baseball Card Exchange, you buy a junk wax box, and you open some cards for fun because I paid $50 for this box, and I'm opening up some really cool baseball cards, and that's if I'm gonna open up a box of cards, like, I would much rather just buy a junk wax for like $50.
Yeah.
Or $100 or whatever, and try to and hope that I can pull a Griffey rookie or whatever, because I'm not dropping thousands of dollars on a hobby box to hope that I can pull a nice Caleb Williams or a nice Victor Wembanyama. I'm not buying an $8,000 Topps Mercury box.
Yeah, man.
To try to hit one of these when a breaker just opened up 20 cases of it or something. Like, I'm not doing that.
See? Yeah. So this whole episode has been very kind of negative in terms of the hobby, but everything you said is what I consider like a collector's mindset. So I'm proud of you, Jason. It's like a collector's move. Like, we love opening wax. We love opening cards. But unfortunately, the hobby nowadays is like, if I spend $65 on this mega box and my best hit is worth like $5, I'm just going to be pissed. The joy in opening wax is going way down unless you hit something that can make you your money back. And that, to me, like, pisses me off. Sorry to get, like, I don't know, that might be a bad word, but I get ticked off thinking to myself that I can't go to Target anymore and buy anything off the shelf because it's going to be a waste of money. What happened to the times when I would go to Target and be like, please let there be anything that I can rip because I'm just itching to open something so I can hit a cool card or something. But now it's just like, I almost don't even look anymore.
Yeah,
I
I
would,
only look just to see. Honestly, the only thing I look for now is hockey.
yeah, me too.
If they have hockey products like and a good hockey product, like that's the only product that I think I would still buy retail.
Yep,
Anything else? No,
yep,
I'm not going to buy it because you're exactly right. Every time that I've bought retail product and brought it home and got nothing, it ruins my day.
yeah,
And
man.
I'm like, wow, I am a total idiot. I just wasted $50 for my best card to be $3.
Yeah, man. It's bull chaff. It's bull crap.
Yeah.
Why does that have, why?
Unless you're
But again,
Eric and you got the magic
yeah, man.
weight of the hand and you can
Yeah. Eric's got skills. He's
yeah.
got really good like weighing skills with his hands,
Yeah.
which is another
Hmm.
thing that we should talk about in like the so oh man, we're going way off like we're going too long, but there's people I've seen plenty of videos, not just
Oh,
at least
people weighing boxes
yeah,
on scales at
yeah.
the stores.
That's what the
Hey,
hobby
you
has
know what?
become.
Whatever, man.
No, not
Whatever.
whatever.
If you
Uh
want to weigh a box at a retail store, whatever, dude. Because
boo.
you just said you're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So who cares?
No.
Who cares? Go weigh it, man. If look at how the hobby is.
God
Look
forbid I do want to buy it.
the
Some
hobby has
clown.
become ruthless, man. It's all
Yeah,
ruthless.
it is
Okay,
ruthless.
it's not a collector's hobby anymore. It's an investment hobby. Everyone's trying to do whatever they possibly can to make as much money as they possibly can, and it is what it is. I mean, how many times you go to a Target and boxes are already opened,
Listen, Jelly
packs are
Cards is
open.
here to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah,
That's
we're not doing it. We're not doing it. But if I walked up and saw some dude, I would probably just chuckle, laugh, and I would walk away.
damn it.
Like
No.
I'm not gonna record the person and put them on blast on social media because that's not who I am. Hey man, well do you? I wouldn't do it, but do you? I'm not putting you on blast on social media.
Okay, yeah, I probably wouldn't record, but uh, I don't know if I'll just walk away. I probably shouldn't just walk away. I should say something like, "Hey, man."
What are you gonna say to them? Be like, hey, don't do that, and then for what? Okay, are you gonna buy this? No. Okay then. Like,
uh, yeah, I don't know. I I hate seeing anybody weigh
what's the
anything
difference of that or Eric picking up every single box and weighing it in his hand and thinking,
because
you
that's
know,
just like I don't know. That's just him doing his mental like mind games to figure out which one might have the best hit. But using a scale gives you like more
I
accurate.
mean, it is what it is. Like it's the what are
I
you gonna
hate it.
do? Like what are you gonna do?
You are going to start promoting the love of the hobby as a collector that we try to do here, and the people that we like associate with in the hobby do as well. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Like like
And as we
we're
do at
not
card
gonna go.
shows
Yeah.
too.
Hmm.
Like if some kid comes up and he wants a card, I'm just gonna give him my Justin Steele auto. Just like, go ahead, yeah, take it. I don't care.
You know what? That's why I I love our mindset, and we're not gonna we're not gonna be the people at Target who are bringing a scale and weighing boxes. If we're set up as a vendor, we're gonna give away free cards. Like what?
Yeah,
Who cares? What am I gonna do? Oh, sorry, kid. That card's worth $1.
yeah,
I want
no,
my dollar. No,
exactly.
here you go, man. Here.
Take it.
Oh, you're a big collector of like Hitmonchan. Here's this whatever. Here's a Hitmonchan. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna
Yes.
do? No, no, that's $1, kid. Come on,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
cough it up. No.
There's more people like us out there, I promise.
Oh yeah,
So
and I'll bet you there are way more. There's probably a higher percentage of people like us in the hobby,
hell yeah.
and that's why it irks me because
Yeah.
we're the ones that just want it. We're the ones in it for the fun of it. We're the ones, yes, that of course want to make money for our business, but we are in this because of the love of the hobby. We're in this because we were collectors at heart, and that's what we like to do. And it's unfortunate that the hobby is kind of shifting towards it's kind of shifting away from us.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
And I just don't. And I just when I look at PSA's numbers and I look at the amount of cards that they're grading and I look at what's happening with wax product, how expensive it's getting, and how all these major breakers out there are just getting all these cases from direct from these companies. like I just personally think, we're getting weeded out.
I see.
So,
Uh,
so we can end on that.
yep.
So if you want to wrap it up, you can take it away, man.
Okay. Final thoughts. Like I said, the Jelly Cards podcast is promoting the love of the hobby. So I don't want anybody to take everything that we've said on this episode in the wrong way. It's not us saying that the hobby is like we hate the hobby. We obviously love the hobby, and we're passionate about being collectors in the hobby. And everything that we said is not necessarily a negative thing. Like Jason said, and like we agreed on, would the like investing of the hobby or whatever you want to call it, would the hobby in general be where it is today without online breakers? Absolutely not.
Oh,
Not even close to where it would be right now. So anyway, we talked about grading. We talked about how PSA's numbers are astonishing. It continues to grow. I want to give like a small shout out to them. Like the return times are getting better, which is awesome. Especially hearing that they're grading almost over a
yeah.
million cards a month.
I think
That's awesome.
I think they're possibly opening up another place in Dallas.
As they should.
I think they're opening up another location.
Yeah. So first part of the podcast was dedicated to grading. Second part of the podcast was kind of dedicated to wax and kind of the growth / direction of the hobby in the future. So if you are out there and you are a hobbyist, I'm almost certain that you grade cards. If you don't, I love you way more than almost anybody else in the hobby. If you refuse to grade, right on, respect.
Remember when we first started?
Yeah, man.
And Eric said, "Why do we have to grade any cards?"
Yeah, exactly. See, Eric's a true collector at heart. So anyway, please reach out to us. Please reach out to us on social media, Instagram, X, aka Twitter, YouTube now, whatnot. eBay if you want. JELICARDS, Jelly Cards. Let us know what you think. How many cards are you grading? Are you buying raw cards just to keep them? Are you buying raw cards to grade them and flip them? What is your take on grading in the hobby? And then also I want to know how many people are out there still ripping personal wax. I unfortunately have a addiction to joining breaks. I've created the friendships that we have because of breaks. So I'm always looking at breaks. I'm always looking to join breaks. I love ripping wax though. So it's a two-edged sword out there in the hobby world. So let us know your thoughts. You can listen to the Jelly Cards podcast on both Apple and Spotify. Please, 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 if you enjoy the podcast, follow the podcast, give us a rating, give us a review. We love seeing those. Like honest to God, makes my day, makes my week when Jason sends a YouTube screenshot of like saying, "Hey, good podcast, guys. I listened to this whole thing." Made my day. So please, by all means, follow the podcast, support the podcast. We love you guys for it. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Happy Halloween, because we're recording this on October 31st.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, happy Halloween. We should have dressed up.
Yeah, sure.
I dressed up. Wore costumes.
Ogre. Can't you tell? So
I'm Mr. Clean.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a good Halloween. Happy Halloween. Have a great weekend ahead. And as always, no matter what, keep spreading the love of this hobby from your friends at Jelly Cards.